Okay, now I think we're ready to begin. Welcome. I'm glad we have a good crowd. WTA is glad to see a good crowd here. I'm Belinda Dixon, and I'm president of WTA, and I start out by thanking Molly Blankenship. She's going to be our timekeeper, and Charity, who was doing our mic check, and she did a lot to get our refreshments and get a lot of this organized, her and Molly. So I want to thank them for all their hard work. And I'm going to explain how this is going to go. I'm going to start the first question. We'll start with John, and all of them will answer the same question. Then the next question, Roger will start. The third question, Betty will start, and each of them will answer the same question, and so on. But everyone will start with a question. And they'll get 2 minutes, and Molly will be timing them, and she'll ring the bell. And after, that's 2 minutes. After she rings the bell, Leslie will count 5 seconds, and then she'll cut the mic after 5 seconds. So, you'll get 5 more seconds, and then she cuts the mic. So, and at the end, if you really had more to say, Charity will give you a copy of the questions, and you can submit those questions in writing to Jeremiah. You can take them home and, she'll send them to you by email, and you can submit longer answers to Jeremiah if you'd like. So, ready to begin? Okay. First question. What do you think are the 2 top issues in our district? And what ideas do you have to address those issues?
We just had a special board meeting, discuss the forecast for the future, for the next 5 years. So finance is a major concern. Working with Laura and Scott, we're going to have to form a plan to address our financial shortfalls. For me, the second issue is I think student involvement. I get to work in town quite a bit on different projects, and sometimes there's as many kids in the stands or walking around that are participating in, whether it might be a play or drama or band or a high school volleyball team. I would really love to see more of our students involved, and I don't know the missing piece, so I don't have a solution for that currently. But idle time, sometimes our students and our kids might get in trouble. So I would really love to see more students involved with our extracurricular activities, and our financial situation moving forward is going to be tough. It really is. I wasn't looking forward to our special meeting, but Laura did an excellent job presenting things, and we as a board, we will figure it out. So my 2 concerns, student involvement and our financial concern moving forward.
Thank you, John. Roger.
Well, John hit them all right on the button. The main thing is got to be the finances. Where are we going? What are we doing? Where are we not going? There's a House Bill 186 that a lot of people know nothing about, but if it passes or it doesn't pass, it makes a big difference. There's a little thing on the ballot that will actually be voted on soon that can take away property taxes or reduce them major. And we are supported by more property tax than anything else, since the state has decided that's how they want us to go. So that's a very, very big concern. We have to figure out what we're going to do, what we're going to move, and we won't say the word cut anything. We'll see what happens and go from there. The second concern, like John said, is student involvement. And used to be you had 75 people out for a football team. Now you got 20 or 25. Used to have 125 people in the band. There's like 50 or so now. So how do you get the children of today interested in being in or participating in these sports or band or drama club, as back then it was called senior class play? How do you get people involved in this is not easy, and you just talk to them and you try to get in with them and help them as all you can, because all that builds success and character and everything down the road. Thank you.
Debbie?
Well, of course, the major concern is funding. You have to have money to make anything go. And we have three means of funding. We have state, local, and federal. And with the legislature in Columbus, it was very, very disheartening on some of the things that they funded. I understand they gave the Cleveland Browns $6 million for a new stadium. Now, I'm not against the Browns, but they're privately owned, and I don't understand why my taxpayers' money is going to them instead of public education. Locally is our property tax. We get funds from that, and that's our big revenue. If they do away with that, money will have to come from somewhere. So what do? Do you put on an income tax? Do you try a local levy? And I understand, I read on the computer today that there's going to be limits on the type of local revenue that you can generate from tax levies. Income tax, there's two different kinds that you could place on the ballot. One being an earned income tax, which that would just tax people who are earning a paycheck in the district or wherever you work. For example, myself, that I'm on state teachers retirement or Social Security, that would not be taxed. Either way you go, it's going to take more money away from the taxpayer. And as you and I both know, one trip to Kroger's, and every week it gets more and more. So the legislatures, I think, have really let us down on this budget. And some of the cuts that we might be looking at would not be easy, but I think that we could do some creative thinking to make some tweaks in our budget to save money, have more grant writing, bring more money into our district from grants and different things that we could still give our students a very quality education. And that's where it's at for a lot of these kids, education. It's an outlet for them to, you can tell.
Okay, I will agree that yes, there is funding issues, but I do think that the last three have fully covered that. My biggest concerns are the lack of teachers and the lack of classes available. We have teachers who have left, and we haven't been able to find replacements. For instance, in the high school, we
touched on the budget, and what Sharon said as far as the teachers, maintaining teachers, of course, the budget affects that as well. So that's a huge issue. And also, something that's important to me, and I think it's important to everybody in the entire school system, is transparency and trust. Those two go hand in hand, and accountability. So I think that should be our focus in the future going forward. Good, thank you.
Okay. Second question. Fine arts program often face cuts first when districts experience financial strain, yet they play a vital role in student engagement, creativity, and whole child development. What specific steps would you take to protect and prioritize fine arts in our schools during times of economic challenge?
First of all, the question, let me read it, because me being hard enough hearing, I didn't understand much of anything you said. So I can't answer it until I know what you said.
Okay.
So if you'll let me read it, or I come over there and read it with you, I'll do that if you want, whichever. I'm sorry, but that's...
Fine arts programs often face cuts first when districts experience financial strain, yet they play a vital role in student engagement, creativity, and whole child development. What specific steps would you take to protect and prioritize fine arts in our schools during times of economic challenge?
Fine arts consists of a variety of things, and we've had some very, very good people in that paint, that draw, that do all these things. So we have to look at all of it as a whole and see where we can come up with things. Where the budget comes in, how it plays a major role. We, back several years ago, came back when Betty was on board and I was there, that we came back with music. And that's one of them. How do you protect that? Well, you've got to weigh it all and see where you're at. And part of that budget could help, as Superintendent Dorn and I have talked a time or two, that if we can arrange to put some Buckeye Hills things here and teach them, and because 80% of the funding will come back to us, which means that helps the whole district, and that definitely can help fine arts. I do not want to do away with fine arts. That's definitely not, because we've had people go a long way by doing so. And a classic example from years ago, Betty Jenkins was a great artist, and he does a lot of American greeting cards that most people probably know nothing about. So we've got more than him, we've got several other people out there. So to protect them, you just got to look at the whole budget, and they're a part of it. So where can they fall, and what happens there? Again, they're not going to be at the bottom, they're going to be at the top. They're going to be in the middle, we've got to do what we can. Thank you.
Okay, next?
Yes.
Okay. Well, this has been a pet peeve of mine for when I was on the board for 12 years, that they did away with art. And I would bring it up every year, no money for art, no money for that. So finally, when Mary Ann Hale was here as an interim superintendent, she had the same
you're in the nose, your grinds into algebra and English and all that stuff, those subjects were like your break. You get away from things. And that's very important to have them. Do I have an answer to how we get those back? No, I do not at this time, but that's something at board, that's something that really, that's an issue that needs to be talked about and come up with a solution for. So, yeah.
So the fine arts, I have the privilege of sitting beside Betty for 2 years on the school board. And a couple times she may have mentioned the fine arts. So I actually went through some notes that I have from previous school board meetings. And maybe Betty said this, maybe we discuss this as a board. Fine arts are a huge part of a well-rounded education. So skill development, enhanced academics, just a ton of achievements can come just from being involved in our arts programs. So yes, I mentioned at the beginning, we're going to be challenged by budget restraints. How do we pay for it? So grants were mentioned. Maybe we can find grants. Maybe when we get to that point where the arts might be in trouble. And I thought community help. Someone mentioned community help. So we have no plans of cutting any fine arts. If our budget gets to that point, I would love to work with the community. I would love to work with grants. And I agree that our kids need that outlet. We talk so much about mental health and concerns in those areas. And this may be an outlet. And this, the fine arts, our arts program, whether it be theater or dance or just visual arts, they need to stay. And we need to find a way as a community, if our school cannot afford that, to keep fine arts. So very important, in my opinion.
Thank you. The next question, Betty will start. What is your stance on our early childhood or preschool program in our school system?
Well, I think preschool is a vital, vital part of the foundation of any school system. 20 years ago, I attended a conference in Columbus, and the gentleman that spoke was talking about preschool. And at that time, he was totally against it. He said 3-year-old kids need to be home with their mother. At the time, I agreed, but not in this day and age. Families are, at best, including mine, dysfunctional. So kids don't have the parents, parenting, and parents don't have the parenting skills, and kids are not getting what they need at home at 3 years old. When we have kindergartners that, the curriculum in kindergarten that we expect these kids to do. So if a child comes to kindergarten, don't know their ABCs, can't recognize them, and they're expected to know those and so forth, to read, by the end of kindergarten, they're behind. So I think it's a vital, vital part of our foundation, and any program that you have, if you have a weak foundation,
No, I couldn't agree more with what she said. I mean, she was spot on that deal. I mean, I see kids, not really my granddaughter, but you might as well say so. She's in preschool, and like she's so far ahead of the other kids. And I went to pick her up one day, and she's bright. I mean, this stuff's got to start early because these kids are coming in there and not being able to count to 10. And it's definitely an issue in society everywhere, not just our school district. It's a problem everywhere. It definitely needs to be addressed.
Early childhood development and how to pay for it. If I could figure that out, I would probably be a millionaire somewhere at the State House. If you talk to a preschool, for example, I represent Wellston at Buckeye Hills. We have an early childhood development program, and keeping it in the black is nearly impossible. But Superintendent Nash has made it clear that early childhood development is so important. I'm hoping once that program gains some traction, maybe students from Buckeye Hills can come here and work in our buildings and maybe cut costs for Wellston City Schools. Mrs. Jackson, I don't know if you've heard of her, but she's a first grade teacher at Bundy, and occasionally she grades papers, and I've never seen any names, but she'll show me some of the things that the first graders are working on. And sometimes the kids that get some help at home excel on worksheets and things like that. And maybe a child that doesn't have the support that he or she needs struggles in that area. And if we can get to that child early, I think kindergarten would be so much easier. And then first grade would be, that child would be advanced. Maybe they're not getting that support, but if our teachers can offer that early, I think it's great. But we've got to be able to pay for it. So partnering with Buckeye Hills, partnering with groups in the community to show everybody how important it is. I made it to the bell.
Yeah, early childhood is very important. Unlike back in my days, it wasn't. We have talked about this in meetings many times. What are we going to do? Where are we going to go? How are we going to fund it? But somehow we always arrange to find it. John just threw an idea out from Buckeye Hills that really I didn't know a whole lot about. But if they've got it there again, maybe we can figure out how to create our own that would help it out a whole lot. The big thing in the early childhood development, to my answer is it's fairly new, and you've got to give it time to see how successful it is. And then everybody goes, whoa, this might be just the thing we need to do. Because like I said, in my days, you went to kindergarten if you wanted to. And if you didn't, you just started in the first grade the way you went. And you can't do that today because everything's different, much accelerated. So I think early childhood is very important. Again, whether it's half day, full day, we've argued back and forth on this. And I think what we're doing is in the right direction.
That would start with Betty.
Yep.
Yes.
What is your motivation to run for school board?
My motivation to run for school board is my concern for my children's education. I would like to see more classes here. I would like to see the teachers stay. I would like to see some continuity and programs that you can grow on where you have, your biology 1, your biology 2, your chemistry 1, your calculus, and things like that. But my most important thing, the reason I am here is for the education aspect. It's more important than anything else that we do. It's the main reason
seemed over the years how slowly things changed, and over like, I'm gonna go 15 years, that's how long it's been. So I just seen things kind of move, and my motivation is just get involved. Granted, this is all new to me. I've never been on the school board or anything like that, but I deal with issues and problems every day of my life. That's what I do with my job, and I just think I'm valuable to help the school board move in the right direction in the future.
So 4 years ago, I decided to run for school board. My mother was a retired public school teacher. My wife was a teacher, and I just enjoy being around kids. When Josh showed an interest in youth sports, I volunteered coaching and improving facilities. And as Josh exited the youth sports, I was interested in the school board. I'm a contractor. Maintaining facilities is so important, so that interested me. I'd already worked for the district in different capacities. And then making sure teachers had support, our staff had support. And then I got a rude awakening when I got elected. When you start mixing money and how to pay for all the opportunities that we want, it becomes quite a bit of a challenge. And I like challenges. I really do. So I enjoy problem solving. I enjoy sitting down at a game and someone telling me some ways that we can improve. I'm an approachable person, and that attracted me. So presented with a problem, I enjoy problem solving, and my kids are in the district. Josh is gone, and Justin will be graduating, and Jace is a 7th grader, and I want to make sure I can do as much as I can for get choked up. My kids and everybody else's kids. Sorry.
Well, my reasoning has been for years, like since 1974, the first time I was ever on school board, has always been for the children or the kids, the community. Because I believe success in all areas builds confidence, discipline, community pride, and more. So I always like to be around the kids, know what's going on, see what they're learning, what they're not, what can we help, where can we do things to help them, be it athletically, academically, or any way at all. So again, my main reason for running is for the kids.
My main motivation for running, you might say it's in my DNA. I taught school for 30 years. I wanted to be a teacher in the 2nd grade. I've always had an interest in our schools. After I retired, I tutored in Benton County for 10 years in reading and in math. And I think it's an honor to serve on the school board, to do the best for our students and to try to impress upon them to find a pathway that they want to pursue to be a productive member of our society, and to instill in them that they need to be a lifelong learner. You can never stop learning. And they will be faced with jobs that haven't even been created yet. When I was in school, did anyone talk about an astronaut? We hadn't even been to the moon. It said in our science book that someday maybe they would go to the moon. So these kids have so many opportunities, and to be a part of that would be an honor.
What are your ideas about supporting students with disabilities? Staffing is dwindling, and those that are left are being stretched thin.
Can you repeat the question?
Linda, we didn't hear that.
Sorry. Let me repeat that. I'm sorry. What are your ideas about supporting students with disabilities? Staffing is dwindling, and those that are left are being stretched thin.
What are your ideas for supporting disabilities and why?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Okay. Well, that's obviously the toughest question I've had so far. So, every student, every child we have in the school district is unique. So every disability, whether it's a physical, mental, is, I mean, to me, you almost have to evaluate each one of them and treat each one, none of them the same. So, I mean, currently I'm not sure what where we stand on that as far as our classes for those kids. Are they in with the regular kids? Are they in special classes? I know years ago they were in their own classroom. So, do I know the answer for that? No. At this time I do not, but that's something that is very important. It's very important in life. Those kids with disabilities, just because they have a disability, they might be different, but they're not, they're still the same. You know, they still have their own mind. Some of them are just as smart as anybody else. So, I mean, that's very difficult. Something very difficult for me to answer, but I'm looking for the challenge of working on that and figuring a solution for that.
So, kids with disabilities. Minnie and I are blessed. Our three boys don't have any disabilities per se. So, tough question, just like Jamie said. So, I just wrote down some notes. Kids need to be loved. Kids need to have a purpose. So, all of our aides do an excellent job working one-on-one throughout the school day to make sure kids with disabilities are able to get to the classes they need to. So, support our staff. Again, the funding is going to be a challenge, and I'm sure there's grants, whether we can improve a sidewalk, whether we can improve a restroom, or make that day more inviting for someone with a disability. That may be enough in itself. And then the challenge begins in the classroom, making sure that the staff person has patience and is able to work with that child. We're a public school. We've got to offer the same opportunities to every one of our students. And yes, it'll be a challenge. It's a challenge every day. And there's people in this building, people in our other buildings that do an excellent job. And we'll continue to do that.
Well, I agree. That's a tough question. You need to have the right teachers, the right places, PAs, everybody to help. Need to support Mrs. Massey and her ideas as to what do we need to do, when do we need to do it, where are they at. And I think our staff we have is very, very good at this present time in all that area. It's just a very tough question. And you can't cut funding because the government's going to get you if nobody else does. And those children need all the help they can get, and they deserve all they can get. So I think that supporting them, loving them, caring for them, helping them, and giving them a purpose to go on is very, very big. And whether it be some things in athletic, a year ago I was helping with the cross country, and we had an autistic young gentleman from another school, and he wanted to run cross country. And we were on the golf cart, and we took his dad with us. And we had to kind of help him get along. We couldn't get on the golf cart because he'd lose. So he comes down here with a baseball field, comes back, and he says, I quit. I'm not going to do this anymore. And it's kind of a little bit of a funny statement. His dad says, okay, we won't stop at Gold Corral when we go over to get Chillicothe. And you don't get to eat there. He says, what? He told us that was his favorite class. So he ran the rest of the race and finished. That's the ending of the story. And did quite well.
Well, certainly students with disabilities have just as much right as any other student. Every child, regardless of their ability, has the right to a quality education and the support. And it is our job to provide those students with the support staff, the best teachers that we can, and to include these children in all of our aspects of school throughout the day and in the different activities and so forth, to make them a part of to feel a part of the total school community. When I was teaching, I had kids in wheelchairs, and they participated in field day, and a big thing for them is Special Olympics that they have at Rader and John, and that's a big thing for those children. And they deserve the right to succeed, and that's our goal, to get every child to succeed at something. And they can go on to have a very good life and have a goal to have a vocation or a trade that they can do, and it's a very vital part of our whole system is the special needs students.
I don't know where the funding would come from that would help or provide additional assistance and additional aids for our special needs kids, but I will say that if we have the funding for students to have an aide walk with them one-on-one, or to be in a classroom alone, one-on-one with a teacher because of discipline issues, then we can surely find a way to find the funding to cover the special needs kids and make sure that their issues are addressed and helped, and they get a fair education that they need.
We'll be back to you, John. Given the recent economic challenges, what steps would you take to ensure the district remains fiscally responsible?
We didn't hear that.
Okay, I'll repeat that again.
It's going out there, but
I've talked for so many years, I just quickly go through. Given the recent economic challenges, what steps would you take to ensure the district remains fiscally responsible?
Fiscally responsible. So deciding what opportunities to provide, what opportunities not to provide, and still be fiscally responsible for that. I've always applied common sense to decision making in my personal life, in my business life, and for the past 4 years, I think I've used common sense. So, well, that's tough, you know. We've got some challenges ahead. Maybe do the majority rule? Do we find a program that has the most students? Who would be most effective? Maintain those programs. That would help us stay fiscally responsible. But then we cut opportunities, and then that affects kids. And those are really tough decisions. Laura Briggs does an amazing job. Scott Dorn, amazing job as a superintendent. He's in there, and I work with Scott and Laura to make sure we stay fiscally responsible. Constantly looking for grants and ways to improve our facilities, and maybe partner with businesses in the area to maintain a program that might be in danger, but then still stay fiscally responsible to our district. These are really tough things. We're going to approve a budget, and we're going to stay within that budget. And thank you, Mama.
Not too sure that's all I can say.
Good job.
Yeah, it's a tough question. Again, we've seen the forecast quickly today or this evening, and we have to figure out how do we stay in there, whether it be taxes that you may have to raise. Hopefully the government will help us out, which you know better than that. You don't want to raise any kind of a tax. You don't want to do those things. You had to try to stay within a budget that we're being presented. We know where we're at. We know where we're going. Again, you could join maybe with other communities or school districts in insurances. Our insurance costs have been high because we have lots of people that just go to the doctor because they need to or whatever, but they go. So our insurance costs have been high. So you try to get all that kind of stuff in control and help it out. And again, as I said a little bit ago, that our superintendent and I have talked about, there is some things, there's some rooms, there's some places that we may be able to teach certain things that would be like the old days, in my days, and several other ones here. You had shop. I mean, shop is not necessarily the thing I'm talking about. It's something that you can relate to, that if you can arrange to get some of those classes and have our teachers teaching them, we would keep roughly 80% of the money. We only get 20% of that 100% now. So if it's $6,000, we'd be keeping roughly $4,800, which would be a major improvement for, that's every child. That's not for every child that's in that class. It would not be out of here, would not be away from here. So a lot of that is, you got to know that it depends on, your money depends on each one of the children. And I'll say like John did, goody.
Well, it is a tough question, and I think the main thing that we should do would be the superintendent, the treasurer, and the board would sit down and make a list of what our priorities to what we could cut without affecting the student achievement. I was in the 70s, I think I'm going to say 76 or 7. We were in the state loan fund. There was no money. Teachers bought their own supplies. We pooled our money. Teacher went to Columbus, bought our duplicating fluid. Each teacher bought their own duplicating paper. Those days aren't fun. But there was just no money for anything. Did the kids still get a quality education? I think they did because of the teachers. I remember Carol Rupert went to Holcomb's in Columbus and bought duplicate. I'm telling my age now. You don't even know what a duplicating machine is, but you would. We didn't have Xerox. It was all duplicating.
that they're discussing in the legislation. But I think that if we work with our community, we would be able to work out something with funding and possibly consider reducing our property footprint of areas that aren't being used, so at least you're not paying to mow that grass of an empty field or things like that, possibly sell it or use it for something else. That's all I have.
Okay, so kind of like what Sharon said, without seeing the numbers and actually know what's going on, cutting, when you're doing any kind of cuts of all options should be explored. And I'm a person that's for jobs, and of course that's my job, but any job cuts should be the last resort of anything you do. All options should be explored before any job. Teaching job, I don't care if it's the janitor, pushing the broom, from the top to the bottom. All options need to be looked at before it comes to that point. That's really passionate for me. I've always been that way and I'll always be that way. So that's when it comes to working collectively as a group and just figuring out these situations.
Okay, I'm done. I'll give you each 2 minutes for a closing statement, and we'll start at this end and go down.
Am I on? Okay. I had remarks at the beginning. I want to say thank you to Terry Gill, 20 years on the school board. Terry, thank you. All right, appreciate you. He's retiring, and we'll have a new school board member, and that's exciting. Okay, now I'll close the remarks here. Okay, no flashy promises with me. I will continue to use a common sense approach to move our district forward. I want families to choose Wellston City Schools because our teachers deliver a high quality education. I will follow Ohio law, follow Ohio Revised Code in my decision making. I will do what is best for our students. However, I know I'm only one of 5. I'll work together with all board members. This is very important. Each board member needs to be a team player. I want everyone to know I will be an approachable board member. Public education got me where I'm at today. I'm grateful for that, and this is an opportunity for me to give back. Over the past 4 years, I was involved with constructing a new fitness facility. I have represented Wellston on the Buckeye Hill School Board. I have attended several school board training sessions. Most recently, I was invited to serve on our Wellston Recreation Board. Our board has received reports that chronic absenteeism is down and test scores are up. Do we have areas to improve? We do. We do have areas to improve. I look forward to working together as a school board member with our teachers, our staff, our superintendent and treasurer to make our district the best in the county and the state.
Well, I'm a lifelong resident of Wellston with a family deeply connected to our schools, including a wife, daughter, son, and 8th grade grandson, who all attended and currently attend Wellston City Schools. Our district has always been close to my heart, and my mission has always been simple: to help our students reach their fullest potential, both in the classroom and in life. For more than 50 years, I have volunteered countless hours at athletic events, school functions, community activities, and always striving to support our youth. Currently, I serve as the Vice President of the Wellston City School Board, where I have worked to strengthen opportunities for students academically, athletically, and more, because I believe success in all areas builds confidence, discipline, community pride, and more. I also would like to say thank you to Terry Gill, like Mr. Jackson did, for all his years of service. I have also been here during the building of our new facilities. I've given my opinion on what do we do with the streets, the roads, the parking lots, and it doesn't always come out the way that everybody thinks it was supposed to. But that's part of something that I do since I am a project inspector on the outside. So I think that the best thing we've got going for us is our children. Again, we have great teachers, and our school system is very, very capable of going from third place in a report card to first, which we have done in the last 3 years. So I thank everybody that has been involved in that, and hope everyone gets out to vote. And I deeply grateful for your support from the past, and I hope you will support me again.
Well, most people know me. I've lived in Wellston for 50 years. Phil and I live on McGee Lane. We've been married for 52 years. We have a daughter, Jenny Sizemore. She's the principal at Dundee. I have a grandson, Bryce. He graduated from OU in May. I was raised on a farm in Benton County. Graduated from MacArthur High School before the consolidation. Then graduated from OU with a BS in education and got my master's from Mary Grove College, I believe in 1999. I spent 30 years of teaching, mainly fourth grade math. The last 17 years was in Wellston. From then I went to Benton County, and like I said, I did tutoring for 10 years in reading and math. And I come from a family of teachers. I have two sisters that retired with 34 years of teaching, one in Logan and one at Tri-County in Nelsonville. I have two brothers, one taught in Benton County and the other one taught oil well drilling at the vocational college, Cotton College. And so I come from a family of teachers, and I've always been interested in teachers. I wanted to be a teacher in the second grade, and I had a wonderful second grade teacher, and I just wanted to be like her. I think I bring to the table the experience and common sense, and our students are our biggest asset, and that's what it's all about. Without the students, there'd be no need for anybody else in the school system. So that's our main focus, and we want to give them the best education possible.
My name is Sharon Brenner. I was born and raised here until I got married. My husband was in the military, and we traveled all over the world for 21 years. And then when his time was up, we said, hey, we're going home. That's where our family is, and that's where we wanted to be. We had kids who have gone through 5 different school districts up until they started at Wellston. When we moved back, we went to St. Peter Paul, and then they moved on to Wellston. And that's tough on a kid to see them move around and be new in a school. But we wanted to be here because we love the small community, and we love it that if my kids were little and they were going out on a bike ride, and we get text messages from everybody all over town saying, hey, we saw your kids. They're still alive. They haven't been hit by a car. And if they were doing something wrong, someone would let us know. And that's a good thing, and that's what we loved about it. They would never have the freedom that they had if we were in a big city. However, big cities also have big schools, and they have the gifted programs, and they have things like that. And I would really like to see something like that come here. And even if we don't have the teachers in person, I know that we offer Apex classes, which is digital learning, and they have basically like a long-term sub, I would say. And in the classroom, the advantage is the classroom, so the kids are actually learning what they need to learn online. And right now we do that for some subjects, and I would like to open it up to more subjects so that kids can actually learn something that they need or want to learn that may not be offered by a teacher here. And they could do that individually in a classroom. They would all, like 30 kids would be in a classroom, and they would all be working on their computers and learning what they want. And that's a way that we could bring the science and we could bring the advanced classes to Wellston. And the kids that may learn better, that may have a disability, maybe this is how they would get the remedial help that they would need, is through something like that. I do love sports. I do love extracurriculars. I don't want you to think that I don't love those things. I helped revitalize the soccer program. John Darrow had it before me, and then he put it on. So guess that's all I have.
Okay, I believe our district can do better for our students, our teachers, the entire support staff, and our community. While I respect the effort the past and current board has done, I also see opportunities for fresh perspectives, new energy, and stronger teamwork to move our schools forward. Our students deserve a board that listens, engages, takes bold yet thoughtful action to ensure every child has access teamwork between parents, educators, and administrators. This is not about pointing fingers, or should be. It's about coming together to create solutions that work. Open communication, responsible leadership, and shared commitment to our kids. I believe we can make our schools a source of pride for the entire community. Once again, thanks for putting this on and everybody attending and inviting.
I want to thank all of you for coming this evening. And I want to thank all of you up here for coming and answering our questions and participating. We greatly appreciate it. And there are refreshments in the back, so please help yourself. We don't want to take those home with us. They were provided from Newkirk's Bakery, so they're very delicious. Help yourself.
Belinda, can I say one more thing? I just want to thank you and all the WTA for putting this together. I think it was very beneficial, and I enjoyed doing it.
You're welcome. Have a safe